Hello everyone. I faced some hiccups in recording, so I'm doing another one. So some of the things that I had planned to do hands-on are already available, and we'll do a quick walkthrough on what exactly we were trying to achieve today. So the whole point of doing today's exercise is to understand what limitations we had in yesterday's test, and then fix them so that we can write better test code. This is the test that we had written yesterday. If you see, it's a pretty basic test, and we are like performing actions as well as assertions in the same place. Ideally, whenever you write an automation framework, you should try and keep it separated. So, programming construct like separation of concern should be followed even in your automation code. So, one thing that I have realized over my tech, over my years of experience is that people don't treat automation code as their main uh, code for your application. In fact, it is we should always have an attitude of having automation code as important as your main production code. That will help us to keep our test well organized, less messy, and always ready to use and useful. So, uh, some of the other points that I want to add. So today we are going to talk about page object models, and why even page object model is needed is because we can see here, right? On line 38, we are trying to fetch an element which we are going to check whether it is visible or not, and we are doing the same thing again on line 52. So you can see if there is any change in any of the parameters that we are passing here. For example, if the URL changes or if get started link is called something else in future, we'll have to change it in multiple places, which is not ideal in any kind of um, like any kind of code that you are writing, and especially in your automation code. So what we did here is we came to this directory called as pages, and we created something called as Playwright home page. Now this Playwright home page should replicate whatever we are seeing on the home page of Playwright. So since for now we are only going to click on documents or only going to navigate to that page, we have only few things that are there in this class. So let's look at it. So every class will have a constructor, this like pretty normal, and as we can see, that constructor will always initialize the page, which will allow it to interact with the browser. The second significant part of this class is the locators. As you can see that we have defined the link getting started here, and which means that whenever there is a change on this element, we'll have to update it only at single place rather than multiple places what we had in our previous test. Um, Having locators is all good and fine, but finally we want to perform some action on it. So this class will also have methods like go to or click started, which will allow us to interact with the pages. So this is, and then we export the class which will be used in our test. Similar to home page, we created another class called as playwright docs. If you look, it is very similar. We have just added our import over here, which will because we are doing some validation in this test. Very similar. We have a constructor which initializes a page, and then we have installation. Uh, we have locators which will be using to interact with the elements, and you can see that we are performing some tasks like search something in the documentation or validate if the heading of the page is correct. If we go back to the test, you can see that we have created the same test that we had before, only this time instead of directly interacting with the page, we are using the home page class. So we are navigating to the home page, checking the title, and making sure that everything is working as expected. As you can see, we have kept assertions in the test itself because that's what test should do. Test should validate and verify whether the expected behavior of our user is correct or not. Now, if you go back on the second test, we have home page again, but this time we have also called our second uh, page object, which was the documentation page. And this time we can see that we are verifying the title, and in the third test we are directly navigating to the docs page and then searching if everything is working fine or not. As you can see, after the execution, the tests are working perfectly fine, and let me run the command to show the report. So command report is the command that we will try and run, and you can see a new browser window is launched, and in that we are seeing the test whether everything, all the activities that we do in the test are shown over here. Similarly for the other tests, and if there is a failure, it will ideally show you a screenshot of it. So thanks for listening in. Sorry for the not active video today because we had recorded one had some issues, and so I recorded um, already created objects in test video. In future, we'll try and make it better so that you guys can see the actual execution. We also faced some hiccups when we were trying to do this. We had forgotten, for example, in this page object, there is this validation, but we had forgotten to import this class, and that is why we were seeing errors. So normally in programming, nothing works in first attempt. You will have to understand to read errors, how to check, and also another important thing that we faced today was our search input locator was not working because it was looking for a locator which had placeholder. Uh, I can show it to you here. If you can see, yeah, the placeholder was search, and that is why it failed. So what we did here, we went back to this page screen, and we went to the docs, and then we clicked on search, and we came here and then quickly look at the text box. So here it says search docs, but since this is a very easy thing to change again and again, it is not reliable to use this locator. So what we did instead was get the ID of that element and then use that to search it. And if you want, there's a small. So if you see, we can use these things to search for the locators from the DevTools itself. This is a very important skill for any automation engineer. So you can just, since there is only one input that we are seeing on the screen right now, we can fetch it immediately. But if there are multiple, you will have to put in your locator and then search for it. So what we did was replace the placeholder locator with what we found here, and like if you can see, here we have used it. So this allowed the element to be found, and the test ran perfectly fine after it. So yeah, this is all I have for today, and like, it's been fun. So if you can see the older test, it failed before. When we saw some logical related issue and some compilation related issue, both were fixed with the changes that I have discussed. Okay, thanks for listening in. We'll make videos better as we learn more and more. See you around. Bye.